everybody. Welcome back to the basement, where it's always top level content from the lower level. This is gonna be a longer episode today. I come across a story on TikTok the other day, and it inspired us to actually make an episode about it. I don't want to steal the man's credit, so it's actually a guy named Zach Rushing. He has, I think, 2.3 million followers. Apparently, he owns some type of hunting store or something. And what had actually happened is this old man, he's into collecting brown A5 Brownings type of gun, pew pew, I guess, if you will. Anyways, he's in that style of merchandise. So this old man comes in there with this gun that he's been looking for. It's called the Sweet 16. He's been looking for this gun for a while, right? And he can't find it. He's been looking for this gun for 15 years, and he'll finish his collection. So this old man comes in there and says, I don't have any money, but my grandson is into hunting now. And I don't have the money to buy him anything. He don't have the proper clothes, the camo, the boots. He don't have any of that. So this owner, Zach Rushing, goes and gets him, they propose a trade. You get the Sweet 16, and then I'll give you, this stuff. So he goes and gets him a bunch of hunting gear, early camo, late season camo, boots. Gives him a burst scope for his pew-pew or gun or whatever you want to say. And goes to trade it to him. And then this old man says, can I hold that gun one more time? And he said, yeah. And he said, this was my daddy's gun. And he passed it on to me. And now I'm going to use it to get this hunting gear for my grandson. And, they do the trade. They do a bill of sale and everything. The old man gets out to his car, puts the stuff in the back seat, and then goes to get into the front seat. And Mr. Rushing stops him. And he said, look, man, I can't take this gun. And the old man tries to give him all that material, all the hunting stuff back, hunting clothes back. And he said, no, look, that's your kid's Christmas. That's your grandson's Christmas present. He said, this gun belongs to you because that was your prized possession. And he said he was thinking to himself, he said, that's his prized possession. But in his mind, his prized possession is no longer that gun. It was his own grandson, right? Mm-hmm. So what we're actually getting to is they said something in that video that he said, that old man said, well, that old man said his daddy said, and Mr. Rushing said his daddy said, same thing. And then, of course, their dads have passed away. He said that one random act of kindness can inspire another act of random kindness. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we want to talk about that today is because, we just got over Thanksgiving. We're in the holiday season, the Christmas season. We say Merry Christmas around here. And, with that being said, that's something that has stuck with me, that one random act of kindness can inspire other acts of kindness. Mm-hmm. And, in this world that we live in today, you see so much, you see shootings, you see violence, you see hatred, you see one side accusing one side of something back and forth over and over and over, but we don't see a lot of kindness anymore.
No.
We really don't. What do you think about that story, Drew?
I think it's pretty awesome that he gave him the pew-pew back.
Yeah. Like at first when he started talking to him, I was like, there's no way he kept this Sweet 16. There's no way he did that. But he gave it back to him. And he, this guy's been looking for this gun for 15 years.
Yeah.
And, to see him be like, hey, the guy cried in the video.
Yeah.
Mr. Rushing cried in that video. And it actually touched me. I sent it to my wife, Emily, and she watched it, and she was even floored. She's like, wow. Just how such kindness, how that old man put everybody else before himself.
Oh, yeah.
And that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, because honestly, not only the sentimental value of that gun, mm-hmm. but it had to be worth some pretty decent money.
Yeah.
If it was that hard for him to find it.
Yeah, it was a Browning. You say Browning in the hunting world.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good brand, and it's an expensive brand. And, we get into the Christmas season, and how many times have we walked into Walmart and you see that guy ringing that bell and you try to not look at him because you don't want to put anything in that bucket. But at the same time, that's you taking away from somebody that's not as fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest, a lot of times I got to turn them away because I usually don't have cash on me.
Yeah, I don't carry cash on me as well.
But sometimes I will do cash back just to put something in there. Or if I see them out there, I'll scrounge around the car, see if I can at least find $1 or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think our problem as a society is that we've become spoiled and we take things for granted.
Right.
And that's myself included. I'm not leaving myself out of this. But I think it's important to remember that there's a lot of people that's not as fortunate as you are.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you ain't got the most money in the world, there's somebody out there that's having it worse than you are. I promise you that.
Man, I got to share a story one time since we're talking about it. And I'm not gloating or bragging or anything, but it stuck with me. I was at Grant's in Bluewell, and there was this guy working on his car. He couldn't get the tire off. All he had was a wrench, right? And he comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, do you have like a lug wrench or a 4-way?" And I didn't have anything on me. I'm like, "No, man, I don't have anything." I said, "What do you got going on?" And he said, "Well, my brakes are seized up, and I can't get the tire off." So I said, "Oh, man, that's terrible." So I walk into the store, get what I need. I come back. He's still out there working on it. I don't say nothing to him. But I get in my car and I drive, and I just kept sticking in my mind, stop at Advance Auto, stop at Advance Auto. So I walk into Advance Auto, open the door, took 2 steps in. The guy says, "You're looking for a 4-way, aren't you?" And I said, "Do what?" He said, "You're looking for a 4-way, aren't you?" He said, "There's been a couple people called down here thinking he was scamming them." I said, "I don't care if he's scamming me or not." So I got the 4-way, drove back to Grant's and gave it to him. Think nothing of it, right? 3 days later, we was doing an event where we was raising money for somebody. And I go into I go into same Grant's. And I go in there to pay for it, and I forgot to put the money on the card. And there was people behind me and says, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" And I told them we was raising money. This is groceries for somebody that's going through something. And they paid for it right there. So that's how I said one random act of kindness can inspire so many others.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been in I know this is kind of a silly example, but have you ever been in a line at a drive-thru and they do the pay it for or
pay
whatever?
It for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I was in it one time, and I don't even remember what I got. It was like $10 worth of stuff. It wasn't nothing major. I think it was some drinks or something.
Right.
And the guy in front of me paid for mine. So I get up to the window, and I'm like, they tell me, "Hey, he paid for yours, whatever."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, I'll get the one behind me." And they're like, "You sure you want to do that?" And it was like, must have been a family in the car.
Yeah.
It was a minivan behind me. This is like $46 bucks. And honestly, my first thought was, man, I came here for some drinks. I do not want to spend this kind of money.
Right.
But I didn't. I didn't break the chain. And the next day, I went to I believe it was the state fair. I believe it was summertime. I went to the state fair, and I found $42 on the ground.
Right.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in no good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly, I am too.
Or is that the right saying for that?
No good deed goes something like that.
I don't know, whatever.
Something like that, but I know what you're saying.
Karma will come back on you, good or bad.
Right. If you can do something good, do something good. If you're not able to, you're not able to. But if you are able to do something, do it for somebody. Because you don't know what that person's going through. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the internal struggles. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what their life's like. I'm saying as simply as I always, when I walk by somebody, if I make eye contact with you, and I try to make eye contact with everybody I'm walking by, it's just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Sometimes you get a okay, and sometimes they don't even say nothing back to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You smiled, you acknowledged them. It's like you go into a restaurant and the waiter's having a bad day, and you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Especially this time of year, it's hard to be a waiter.
Oh, yeah.
Or a waitress. And, just be nice to them. Just be nice. Even if you don't have the money to tip, the best thing you do is kindness.
Oh, yeah. I mean, also, this is one that I'm big on. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of the jobs because when I was a mail person, I had several elderly people on my route. Mm-hmm. And there was a few of them, if I had to deliver something to the door and they caught me at the door, I was just buckling in for the long haul because it was going to be a minute before I got out of there.
Good conversation.
Yeah. But, I mean, in the job I have now, it's the same situation. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times what you got to remember is, and it's not necessarily just elderly people, but a lot of times elderly people, their kids have moved away from here.
Yeah.
To start their own life. Maybe their spouse has passed away or they got something going on where they're in a nursing home or something.
Right.
You might be the only person to have a conversation with all day.
Yeah, and
once you get to a certain age, man, you done lost a lot of your friends, and you know.
And you know what? To us, that seems like I'm trying to get my job done. It seems like a distraction. I'm trying to get it done, but to them, you know, I'm not just saying elderly people, just somebody like it. Like I used to do Spark deliveries. You go to somebody's house and they sit there and talk to you, and you're like, I got to go. I got to get this next order. But to them, that may be the only positive interaction they had all day. So yeah, you can brush them off to the side. Or you can just spend that extra 2 or 3 minutes, talk to them, and that could change their whole day. They could sit there and go back inside and be like, you know what, that guy's a pretty good guy.
Okay.
You know, it's...
Yeah, and you know that woman I was talking about, I mean, there was a few, but there's one woman that come to mind in particular on my mail route. And, buddy, I'm telling you, she was right at the end of my route, too, so there's a lot of days that I could have finished and been home. You know, time as I got done talking to her, but, I mean, she'd catch me coming down the street and know she had a package coming. She'd be out on the porch waiting with a glass of tea because she knew she was at the end of my route.
Yeah,
and she'd be out there with a glass of tea, lemonade, whatever she made. And sometimes, man, I'd sit on the porch and talk to her for an hour.
Nothing wrong with that.
But you know what? At Christmas time, I don't work there no more, so I can say this now. At Christmas time, buddy, she'd take care of me. You know what I mean? She would. And finally, right before I left that job, she got pretty bad off, and they put her in a nursing home. But she was the sweetest lady. She just didn't have nobody, man. Her kids really didn't have nothing to do with her much.
Right.
I mean,
man, I was doing a Spark delivery one time, and I don't do that anymore either. But I come up to this house in Bluefield, Virginia, and a little old lady answers the door, and all it was like 10 gallons of distilled water. So obviously it's for like a breathing machine or something. Yeah. And my rule was I never go to anybody's houses because, I mean, with my profession that I'm in, I just don't have that trust.
Yeah.
And she said, can you please, 'cause she had a split level house. As soon as you open up the door, there was stairs to go up and the stairs to go down. And she said, can you please carry my water up to the top stairs for me? And like I said, that was my rule. I'm not going to anybody's house. But I had a set amount of money I wanted to make that day. I said, I need to make this amount of money today. And I said, you know what? I'll take it up there for you. So I took it all the way up there, put it in her living room, because that's where she was set up her own little living area. And as I was leaving, she stops me and hands me $20 tip, which put me at what I needed to make that day. And she said, I'm just giving this to you so the government can't track you. I'm not going to put it on that app. And I was like, well, I appreciate it. But, you know, I didn't have to do that. I can just drop it off the door, snap a picture, and roll out.
Yep.
But you know what? I felt it in my heart to help her, and then that random act of kindness, you know, helped her make an act of kindness.
Oh yeah. A lot of times that's all it takes is for honestly, and sometimes you know what, it might even be a competition. Be like, well, you did that, I'm gonna do this, but it don't matter because somebody's still getting helped.
Right.
You know.
That's, you know, another act of kindness is right now Toys for Tots is doing a drive, and they are not doing as great as they anticipated, from what I heard.
People are struggling right now,
People are struggling, you know, the economy, it's hard out there. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to do that. But it's hard out there. I mean, you have people that are relying on food stamps and didn't get them for a couple weeks, and so they're behind. You know, thankfully, those people was able to get what they needed to get. And, you know, I don't care what your stance is on that. Some people need that. And I don't care what your stance is, honestly. I'm not saying there isn't people that abuse it, because obviously there's people that abuse everything.
I was about to say, people abuse everything, man.
But with that, you know, with that being said, you know, that put people back. So obviously everything else is going to be pushed to the side. So with that being said, with this Toy for Tots coming up and is the people that were donating to that probably aren't able to donate anymore. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've met loads of people in my life, and most of the times, I'm not going to say most of the times, but a lot of times you meet these people that are on fixed incomes that can't hardly live comfortably. They're the ones that are willing to give you everything they got.
Every time.
Everything he got. And you know what? It's time for us to kind of step back and look. Like, life might be hard. And life might be, you know, you may think it's terrible, but do you have a house? Do you have running water? Do you have electricity? Do you have a car? One big thing is, do you have a job? You may hate your job, but you got one. You got a source of income. So you got to be thankful for that. You know, we got to stop living in this, and I know we kind of transitioned, but we got to stop living in this reality of, I want this instead of I have this.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And I think that's something that I mean, everybody gets into the, you know, I don't know. I'll just use this as an example because it's a big thing around here. These two guys are friends. He's got this kind of side by side. He's got this kind of side by side. Well, he trades his side by side in on this brand new one that costs $60,000, and his other buddy can't really do that at the time. So he walks around all pissed off because his side by side ain't as cool as his. But you know what? You got one. You got money to spend on a toy.
Right? You envy. There's too much envy.
Yep.
Man, just be happy with what you got. I know people right now that want a side by side and don't have a side by side. You know, and that is a big thing around here. I mean, you see, and
it's a competition between a lot of people, buddy. It really is.
And there's no need for it.
Or I'll tell you another one around here: trucks. Dudes trading trucks.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody can stand to pay $800,000, $900,000, $1,200 for a truck.
I'm not going out and making a house payment on a truck.
Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'll just drive my little Chevy Cruze until it can't ride no more, and I go find another one.
I got 200,000 miles on my old truck, and I'm going to keep on driving it till the wheels fall off.
Dadgum right.
And then I go buy another used one.
That's right. I'm not going to go out and pay that much money for it. But that's crazy. But
daggone truck payment be more than my daggone
mortgage.
Yeah, more than my mortgage.
Right? But man, I just, that story really weighed in a lot on me, and I've been wanting to talk about it and just say, that if you're able to help, even if you're not, an act of kindness doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be getting somebody something. It doesn't have to be, going out and breaking your bank or going out and giving your last can of beans to somebody. It could simply be just saying, hey man, how you doing? How are you really doing?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Start a conversation with somebody. That may be the only positive interaction they had all day, and that could change their entire day. So, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Was just random acts of kindness.
Now, sorry, I had to text my daughter back
You're
here.
good.
But I want to clarify this because I don't want to get no hate. If you can afford to buy all that stuff and pay that much for a truck payment, then good for you.
Yeah, I'm not envious of you. If that's what you can do,
hey, I'm proud of you. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Hey, go out and do it. I'm just not going to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that I think you're stupid or anything else. Hey, if you feel comfortable doing it, pour it to it. I don't care what you do. It's your money. Hey, and I'll look at your truck and I'll be like, man, that's nice. It just ain't for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we got to touch on is the camera was doing something weird. Why is it that we got to envy everybody? Why can't you cheer the person on? Like, hey, man, you got a good job. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you get that promotion. Like, this is one thing that gets me.
Or, hey, man, nice truck. Nice bike. Nice whatever.
You get a bunch of people that apply for a job, like a promotion, and then the backstabbing starts. But why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to get a job that way? Why don't you, if somebody asks you a question, answer the question. And if you get the job, then you was the best one out of that candidacy. Not because you threw more mud on somebody.
Yep.
But that's just our take on it. We hope y'all enjoyed that. And as always, it's top level content from the lower level. It's the basement.
Take it easy.